Hey, what's up, guys? This is Armand. I just got through watching Johnny Bravo's interview with Tony Huge. Of course, John is one of my close friends. We talk every day. I think he's an awesome guy, and his videos are amazing. So, I watched the whole interview. I could tell John was trying to give Tony a lot of room to speak. Tony was really kind of just holding back so much. And let me get this straight from the beginning, because like I was at the gym the other day and this guy's like came up and asked me, because he saw like my other video about Tony. He's like, "Why do you hate Tony so much?" And I said, I don't. I said, in the whole YouTube world, when we make these videos and talk about other stuff, like hate's a strong word, and I don't hate Tony at all. There's no hate at all. I just don't agree with his lifestyle at all. Like I said, or he says he lives in a completely different, he just lives a completely different life than, people here. I just don't agree with a lot of things he does, but that doesn't mean I don't like him. Like I could call Tony today and say, "Hey man, you want to go catch some lunch?" And I'm sure we could have some laughs and talk about some funny stuff and get along just fine. But I mean, I have a lot of friends like that I don't agree with their lifestyles. Whether it be, Tony's whole deal is this whole harem thing. I think that's the first time I've ever even heard that word. And creating this household with these women in conjunction, all living together. Women are women. I just think that type of situation is just never going to work. There's always going to be jealousy, even though no matter how open a woman is. And I just, I think Tony has a potential to do so much better things than, I mean, I get he's trying to fulfill his own like fantasy, his own sexual fantasy and all that. I kind of did all that stuff in my 20s. I was really, really, really wild. I mean, I was a male entertainer myself. I mean, I freaking escorted for top clientele women. I mean, I lived a really, really crazy life. I think Tony is just still he's trying to live that life, because it seems like when he was younger, he didn't get to live out all this crazy stuff. And now that he's an adult, it's just his behavior is really odd. And now that he moved, he opened up more about it, because, when I said at first, like he looks guilty, like it looks like he had something 100% to do with it, because it really did. All the videos he made really made it look like he was like a huge suspect and had something to do with this. But like everybody who was close to Tony, like, oh, he couldn't hurt a fly. Anybody can hurt a fly. Let me tell you something about a man. There's something in every man what I'm trying to think of the word. Every man has that in them to hurt somebody. It's just in our nature. But he just made himself look so guilty making those videos, and I just didn't understand why he just kept making those. So I gave my opinion on those videos. I went a little harsh in on him. Of course, I do not agree with the whole supplements and all the research chems and stuff out there, because I've used them. Like I even tested them about 3 or 4 months ago. I tested a bunch of them too, and they didn't do anything. They weren't real. Like IGF, of course, it's not that cheap, and some other products. I'm not going to get into that or whatever. But I mean, when people's buying from a chem site anyways, you are buying from a chem site. It does say, hey, not for human research, because it can't be sold for that anyways. So that's a whole nother issue. I don't hate him for that. I don't even dislike Tony. I don't dislike him. I just don't agree at all with his lifestyle, and that's fine. My life is on a completely different direction from him. I'm trying to, better myself. I have kids. I want my kids to see their dad in different light. I have really strong beliefs in God and living the right way and trying to be the best person possible and just keep bettering myself as the future goes along. I'm not, and then that's what I follow. Like I follow, people's like, what are your beliefs? I follow the Bible. That's what I follow. That's me. That's personally. And I try to follow that the best I can. Am I going to be perfect? No, I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes constantly. Him, on the other hand, his life, he's just living for himself, which, you know, if you are a believer, saved, or all that, that's just, you're living for, you know, yourself in this world. And we all know who the God of this world is, the devil. That's the way I think. It might sound crazy to some people. His stuff might sound crazy to some people. I'm just giving my opinion. So I think this gives us closure now, okay? Because obviously Leo, you know, Tony brought this girl over, and, you know, who knows what else they were in. It sounds like they were doing crazy, you know, sexual stuff all the time with all these different women together. And I've done that in my younger years, and it just feels filthy to me. I just feel gross afterwards. I remember I used to have, you know, a lot of different girls I would hang out with. I remember they would leave in my house and I would just jump in the shower. I just feel dirty. Like if I'm not with if I wasn't with a girl, I would just feel dirty. That just wasn't my thing. I wasn't one of those guys, oh man, that's so cool. I hooked up with that many women, blah, 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 blah. That was never a problem for me, getting women. And the whole masculine thing, the whole dominating thing, that was my personality. Of course, I was very dominant, but Tony's dominance example is a little different. Like when he's talking about Leo, dominance is not choking out women and making them obey every word you say. If you're comparing it to maybe Saudi Arabia, yeah, maybe that's a different story. But, you know, you can't treat people that way. You can't, you know, like, you know, when Tony was telling this story, you obviously have to go watch John Bravo's video, because this is what I'm talking about, the follow-up to this. So make sure you go watch his video, like it, comment, share. I mean, he does amazing videos. I just push play and go. He edits them. He makes them just like movie style. That's his gift. And, you know, what he's really, really good at. I'm doing videos because people want to see me do videos. Maybe one day I'll get to some sort of that level, but right now I'm just right here. And like, I love John to death. He's awesome. Like, he's just an awesome person. We get along great. And then, you know, so Tony, I do not dislike Tony. I dislike his lifestyle, his beliefs and all that. But the way he was just talking about, like, yeah, you know, sometimes I would hear screams from Leo's room and I didn't know what to ignore. Man, if I had someone living in my house and they had a girl over, there were screams coming from that room. Of course, some girls scream during, you know what? Oh my gosh, yeah. Look, I get all that. But if they were like screams, like help screams, I couldn't be okay just sitting in my room listening to that. That would be like kind of tormenting and evil. And unfortunately, you know, Leo's smarts and his information that he let out there, which a lot of the information I don't think was good information. A lot of it was reckless information. Medicines he would tell people to take, kind of all that stuff. I made that video. And you got to understand, me and Leo did podcast with Boston. So I was in contact with Leo for like 8 months, and Leo would be, you know, very, very like overly nice on the phone. And, oh, brother, I'm so sorry. I'm late and this and that. We'd be waiting hours sometimes for him to get on the podcast. And the stuff that really doesn't matter. But he would be like, oh, brother, I'm so sorry on this and this. And then you talk to him again and he'd be kind of like a different person. And then we never really got along well. I didn't consider him a friend. Boston was a good friend of mine. But Leo had some, you know, demons. And him having a daughter and him being with Lucy, I think this all happened for a reason that, you know, I don't think he needed to be around his daughter. I think he was very, very dangerous. Just his whole mentality of thinking, telling people this is how you choke out a girl a certain way to you know, for them not to scream as much. That's evil. And that's so wrong. And I think everybody now knows what happened. I think we know Tony didn't go take care of him. I think Tony was scared living in Thailand. Whether that girl that, Leo harmed really bad that night, who knows what he did to her, but she was pretty scared and shaken up. And Tony's the type of person to avoid conflict at all costs. I know people like that too. I'm the total opposite. I don't mind conflict at all. I don't mind going straight into conflict. That's the thing with me. So that's how, I'm just so different with Tony. And sometimes it's hard to understand when someone's so different from you like that. He just tries to avoid conflict at all costs, and just kind of shut down, not talk about it. And that's what he was trying to do. But sometimes you got to stand up and Tony was very passive with women. He let women kind of push him around. And hey, some guys like that. They like that, women to kind of take control and all that. And Leo probably came in there, not probably, he did come in there, saw how Tony was getting pushed around by all these women, and was just like, no, we're going to change this. This is how you need to be with women, and this is how you need to act. And basically, Leo messed with the wrong person, harmed the wrong girl, and someone from that girl's side, whether it be a loved one, someone that cared for her, went and took care of him. I mean, that's pretty obvious now. I think we have closure now. And, for Lucy hearing this also, I think she has some closure because she did experience Leo and his attacks and rage and whole crazy behavior. And now she knows, yeah, he did this to a woman that wasn't his wife. And she had someone probably, hey, this guy hurt me and did A, B, and C to me. And then they go take care of Leo. I mean, I'm going to be honest. If I had my daughter or cousin or someone related to me or close to me go hang out with Leo and Leo did that to him, what would I do? Yeah. So, you can't blame anything. Leo kind of got what was coming to him. Unfortunately, he had so many ways. He had potential to be a different kind of person. And some people are always going to be his fans, but you got to understand, when you're someone's fan, there's a difference between their work and then their personal life and what he did to people. He treated people very, very, very poorly. He treated people like dirt. He treated people like he was above them. He treated people like they were nothing sometimes. Unprovoked too, not even provoked. So just think if someone provoked him. And so I think this gives us all closure now. We don't need an exact person to say, it was this person that got Leo, or is this person. We just know it was probably someone that had a relationship with that girl, whether it be a dad, cousin, uncle, boyfriend, pimp, whatever. Someone close to her that she went and told what Leo did, and they came and, did what they had to do. And can I say I blame him? No. I mean, he kind of got what, you can't go around and do that stuff to people. But in regards with Tony, I have no ill will towards Tony at all. After I made that other video, I could kind of see how it went off that way. I like Tony. It's hard not to like Tony because he wants to be liked. He doesn't want to cause harm or cause friction. So don't get that twisted. I don't hate Tony at all, and I don't even dislike him. Like I said, I could probably call him up and, I wouldn't go to Thailand, or wherever he's at, and go hang out with him and probably have fun and, talk crazy to him about all the crazy stuff he does. But yeah, I don't dislike Tony at all. I just don't agree with his lifestyle and what he does. And that's okay. People have different lifestyles all the time. And I have friends that I don't agree with their lifestyles either. I can kind of give them advice. Sometimes they want it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't care. But that's pretty much it. Great job, John, with this interview. And I think we're done here. I think we have closure. I don't really think there should be anything else popping up. But hey, you never know. Peace out, guys. Check out my website, armandodb.com.